Okie dokie, guys, welcome back to another vintage video. Today we're back on Dredge, and we are playing some Combo Dredge today. So, normal Dredge stuff, we're still going to mulligan to Bazaar, and then the aim of this list is to combo off and win. So we've got 3 Dread Returns in here, 2 Grizzle Brands, and a Thassa's Oracle. Our interaction package has got no blue in it, we're just on 4 Griefs, 4 Therapies, a Misstep, and a Chalice. So a bit lighter on the interaction, but you get a more explosive deck, basically, more speed. So that's going to be the aim today. You've got Bridge from Belows, which can not combo, but can increase your clock with Icarids. Poxwalkers and Cabal Therapy is a nice natural combo to strip your opponent's hand and go off that way. And just generally, you put in 9 to 12 points of power, take their 3 spells and kill them. So that's going to be that, and that's all I've got to say at the moment. 4 Noxious Revival to protect against Wasteland, and then all the blue becomes this faster combo package. Post board, 4 Sickening Shoal, 4 Ravenous Trap, 4 Force of Vigor, 3 Mind Break Trap is what I'm going to work with today. I think you can add more to this Graveyard Hate package if you want to, but I don't know if it's mandatory, because in a lot of these matchups, these Dredge matchups, because you've got the bridges, you're just going to be really favoured game 1, which means game 2 you just need to miss on leyline once and then you win. So let's get down to round 1, Combo Dredge. Okay, round 1 we're up against Raging Machismo, so we are on the play. We've got a Bazaar, Cabal Therapy, Grizzle Brand, Hollow One, what the world? 2 Bazaars. So we'll keep this, we just don't have a Dredger, but we should be able to find one. Our opponent does have 7 cards, but does not have a Lurrus of the Dream Den. So let's activate, see if we can come up with a Dredger here. We cannot. So I'm going to discard Powder, Poxwalker's Therapy. And then I'm going to cast a Hollow One. And I'm going to pitch my Grizzle Brand. I've got a second Grizzle Brand in my deck, so I'm not too stressed about that. Let's Grief you. That gets in. Let's see what they're on. The opponent considering the concession before I see. That would be cool. No, they're paying costs. Noxious Revival and Cabal Therapy. I think that can warrant a misstep. It slows me down by a turn, but I'm pretty happy just getting in the way of this. So they've got Thug Grief Gore. Oh, I wish I could just like not take something, you know? So I'll take their grief, sure. That's the only card I can like not take. Everything else is just helping them out. There's an argument there where I can take the Silver Smoke Ghoul, for example. And if I take the Silver Smoke Ghoul, then they have to pitch a real card, Thug or Amalgam to the Grief. That sort of thing. We'll just take a draw because we're holding 2 Bazaar Baghdad's. It's a Stinkweed Imp. So we'll activate and we get everything that we ever dreamed of. Now we'll play a second Bazaar. We'll pop out our graveyard and we should just be able to kill them from something close to this. Well, we've got therapies, we've got no bridges from that, but I do get to put 6 power into play with Poxwalkers. So I'm probably going to kill them next turn. Do I want to attack? They've got an Icarid already. So what do they have? We don't know. They've got an Icarid, so I go to 15. They've got Dredge 9 plus 4. So they've got Dredge 14. So what's the worst that can happen to me? Icarid plus 4 chills is 15, so I'd be at 3. But then I'd have 2 Bazaars, Grave Troll. Yeah, no, I can just hit them for 4. Because then I'll have a Grizzle Brand in play and the game will be over in a different way. Do I want this Hollow One, or do I want something else? I think this hollow one is fine. We can get the Poxwalkers next turn, because next turn I'm just going to kill them with Grizzlebrand or just having a Grizzlebrand in play, and if they go through all 4 chills, then I'm still fine. So they bink me, they get 2 Silver Smoke Ghouls. They haven't got rid of that Amalgam yet, which means they're holding a Force of Will. But I've got a Therapy. 2 Ghouls come into play. So they drew Force of Will or Force of Negation off of that. My Ichrid goes off, and I can now Dredge 11, Dredge 11, Dredge 6, something like that. Dredge 11. Oh, think we didn't, please. So this all happens. Yes, please. Yes, please. Eat a Grief. And then Dredge 6. Get 2 more Narcs. So I found a Grizzlebrand, which means we can therapy them off of target you. Are they conceding? Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they've got a Force of Will in hand because this Amalgam never made it into play. But we've got Therapy, bring back triple Poxwalker or double Poxwalker. Then Therapy, Therapy, Therapy. Make sure they've got absolutely nothing. Dread Return Grizzlebrand, get to 0. Dread Return Thassa's Oracle, win the game. So turn 3, 2 Bazaars. The perfect execution to start with. 4 Ravenous Traps are going to come in, and 4 Force of Vigor are going to come in. Chalice can go. Noxious is great. I think I'm allowed to cut a couple of Thugs. I think I'm allowed to cut a Bridge from Below. I'm going to cut a Grizzlebrand. I don't know if that's good, actually. This is one of those matchups, though, where I think I can consider cutting the Thoracle. And I might try that. Just because if I make a 7-7, the game's over. You know? It's just done. So then, Poxwalkers, 1 Therapy, and I need 1 more cut from here. Misstep's pretty good. I don't want to cut any more Dredgers. I'm already lower than I would like to be. Two therapies seems too low. Maybe the Griefs are bad, actually. On the draw. And then I get my Bridge, Therapy, Thug back in. And the plan here is reanimate a Grizzlebrand and then just have a 7-7 lifelinker that they can't ever kill me through. See how that goes. This is a powder. 2 Dread Returns, 2 Ravenous Traps. So this is going to be about as close as I ever get to not powdering. And the only reason for that is giving up the sideboard info. But I am still going to powder. And then I'm going to mulligan. So I think I've got 1 Dread Return left, right? Dread Return, yeah. I've got 1 Dread Return, 1 Grizzlebrand. So we've got some cards. Again, no Dredgers. I don't know what count I'm on. I haven't taken the time to think. Probably putting Narcomoeba Ichrid back. Keep this. Get rid of Narc. And Bridge, maybe, actually. Opponent has a Leyline of the Void and a Leyline of the Void. They're on 3 cards after that, and they've got no plays. So we really want to find a Grief that I put in my sideboard. So Ichrid, Therapy, I guess. And they've kept this with no Bazaars. Do they have Force of Will, though, is the next question. I'm just going to go and find a Vigor. There we go. So, Misstep, Narcomoeba. What's in exile? 1 Ichrid already. No, I just have to get rid of this Ichrid, don't I? And then we'll pass to them and we'll hope they don't have Force of Will blue card left over. No, I don't like their keep then. I don't like their keep at all. So now we'll activate this and hopefully not get Ravenous trapped. We don't. We pick up the Stinkweed Imp, and we're now in business, and they're not. Back to me. I can dredge my Thug, dredge my Stinkweed Imp. At some point, I'll hit a creature. It's a Narc. Oh, they do have the trap. Okay, interesting stuff. I've got 26 cards to work with, and now I've got to actually think about what I'm doing. Okay, so what have we been through, first of all? That's going to be a big thing. 1 Narc, 2 Narc, Poxwalker, 1 Therapy, 1, 2, Icarid, 1, 2, 3. No, 2. Okay, so we should still be fine, right? 1, 2, 3 Icarids, 2 Narcomoebas. Okay. So we're gonna activate upkeep. Do they have more Ravenous traps? That's the whole story here. I will dredge a Grave Troll and pass to our opponent. Now I will dredge a Stinkweed Imp. I should have 2 more Narcomoebas. It's just whether they've found another trap is the issue we've got going on. We've got 8 cards in hand. Hollow ones, 1, 2. Okay. 3, 4. So I'm out of hollow ones. So I am just on to this Narcomoeba plan. They just got a Stinkweed Imp. Dredge a Thug then. Miss on Narcomoebas again. I can dredge 3, dredge 3. That should get me a Narcomoeba, right? And then if they've got a trap, I lose. Then maybe we do like their trap, their keep. In that case, this will bring back 1 Poxwalker and 2 zombies. You got another trap, sir? No. Okay. So therapy you. I'm going to get a board state from this. And then that should be good. What do we name? What can they ever have that's useful? Nothing. So let's just name. Let's start off on Noxious Revival. So Narcomoeba, Force of Vigor, and a bunch of nonsense. Okay. So now I can therapy you. I can therapy myself, right, actually. What did you have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd get a 4, 4. So I'll therapy myself then. The bridges will go around in a little circle. I'll name Golgari Grave Troll. Now I'll dread return my Grave Troll. And it's going to be a reasonably acceptable size. It's a 7/7. Cool. Alright, you'll go, and you know I've got a Ravenous trap. So that's the downside of that, is they know I've got a trap. So I'm just going to trap them once. And then attack for whatever this is, 10, 20 something. And then they just don't dredge and they concede. So double ley line, Ravenous trap half my deck, and we were able to convert. That last play might have been a bit suspicious. Maybe I'm supposed to take their Force of Vigor. And then they don't, and then they dredge 5, and they don't know, and they're on 7 cards, so they're not discarding again. So then they've got no graveyard, and I've got another turn. But If it was leyline trap on 5, maybe we can start having a conversation. But just go and get Bazaar of Baghdad, you know. Just go and get it. That's my point of view. Right, round 2. Okie dokie, round 2, and we're up against Blue Diamonds, which is slightly more relaxed, less crazy version of the diamonds that we usually play against. We are on the draw. We're going to keep our 7 with 2 Bazaars. And then we're going to lag out a little bit. And it's onto our opponent. They've not got a Lurus, which is cool. Wasteland, Mox Emerald. All fine by me. So, Wasteland, Mox Emerald, no. Okay, it's fine. Don't worry. Ignore me. No plays. I was going to say, looks like a suspicious Oath of Druids draw. But, in this instance, it's not. So we'll go Bridge, Thug, Shell, cast a Hollow one, because we can get through that thing, that sphere with the Hollow one's ability. It's -1 mana. They pay 1 for a Sapphire. They play another Wasteland. But I've got some news for you, my friend. So back to us. We're going to dredge a Thug at sorcery speed, or like draw steps nice and slow, is what I'm trying to say. Now we'll activate our second Bazaar of Baghdad into their Wasteland, because I've got 3 of them. Life is sweet. We could have taken a moment there to consider Workshop Golos Bog, but we didn't. So here we are. They don't activate their Wasteland, or they do activate their Wasteland, so we're not going to get Workshop Golos bogged unless they've got fast mana. They've got a Stonecoil Serpent, which is a 1/1, but that doesn't do anything. I've got a Shambling Shell to exile to an Icarid, a Shambling Shell to exile to an Icarid. Dredge a Stinkweed Imp. Yes, I'd love a Narcomoeba. I'm going to activate my third Bazaar of Baghdad, which I assume prompts the concession. Doesn't seem to, so I'm going to hold the Stinkweed Imp this time, just in the interest of. And now we attack. There's some bridges in here somewhere, I reckon. I've not really looked. You should probably block the hollow one, because then I don't get any bridge tokens. Okay. Opponent's graveyard. I think they're about to concede. Yeah, cool. So that was nice and easy. When you draw 3 Bazaars, life should be good. Do we want Sickening Shoal? What could they have? Literally just Golos? Let's try Mindbreak Trap. Let's go Chalice to the Void. 2 Thugs. A bridge. I'm going to keep the Griefs. Is that true? Because I could keep a Thug and just drop the Griefs on the draw and just be like, Vigors and Traps. I think I'll try that. The traps are quite suspicious. They're not very good. But they can really get those Mox Mana Crypt Trinisphere hands. You know, that sort of nonsense that's just going to wreck you. And we are on the draw, and then we'll have they'll go away on the play, and we'll have Griefs back in our deck. That's going to be the approach. Okay, so no Bazaar of Baghdad here. Powder this one, keep an Icarid. And then mulligan again. Mulligan again. Mulligan again. Right. Keep 3. So we will put Narcomoeba, Thug, Dread Return, Thoracle down. I think that makes the most sense. Thoracle's our very last card. We need to get to 0 anyway. So, if we're going to win with it, so it's nice to have it there. So, Ancient Tomb, Sphere of Resistance, sure. So now we know that our cards are bad. I think I'm going to just discard 2 Dredge returns. And I'm not protecting the Vigor, I'm just protecting the second Dredger. I want the best Dredger here for when I get Wastelanded. But there's also a chance that our opponent plays, like, Soul Guide Lantern or something like that. And doesn't Wasteland me. At which point I've guaranteed an upkeep activate Dredge. But we want to maximize the upside, minimize the downside sort of thing. So there's the Wasteland. 3 mana. Disruptor Flute hits my Bazaar of Baghdad. Okay, sure. And I've got Golgari Grave Troll for the slow dredge. So it's the best slow dredge I'm going to kick off a game with. Am I sad that I don't have this in there? Yes, but I think there was a lot of plays there where we would have been screwed. I hit a Narcomoeba and a Stinkweed Imp. They pay 1 for a Lotus. And 5 mana. That's a 4 mana play. No, so they've got a Golos next turn. So can we be careful about? Can we be careful? Our graveyard? Not really, right? We don't really have many choices to make here. I think we just rip the Stinkweed and see what pops out of our graveyard and assume that they bog us next turn anyway. So going for it again. Oh, it's a Stonecoil Serpent, I see. Okay, sure. I hit an Icarid, I hit a Bridge from below. I don't have many creatures for the Icarid though. Okay, I'm not going to attack. By not many creatures, I mean I've got 0 creatures for my Icarid. This is 3 mana for a Patchwork. I've got to dredge. I've got to say no to the Icarid here and dredge the Stinkweed. I've still not got any creatures. So I think we're up against the clock here. Drawing 1 creature a turn is really tough, and knowing that this Mindbreak Trap was a grief makes me sad, but, you know, play with the cards you dealt yourself. Our game plan here is just Icarids, to be honest. It is just Icarids. We've got 3 of them. So it's Icarids up until Bridges overwhelm, basically. But for that we need to mill multiple black creatures in 1 turn. And we're running light on those. So opponent's having a bit of a ponder. There we go. There's a Workshop. This can make 6 mana. And I will concede to the bog. I think it's fine. We mulliganed low and they had double hate piece, triple hate piece if you want to include the Wasteland. So this is a Metamorph, probably coming down as a copy of the Patchwork. Or they could copy the Stonecoil and kill my Bridge from below. That would be cute. But they take the Patchwork. And then they play a Mana Vault and they've got some larger creatures. So in comes Patchwork and Stonecoil. Stonecoil has Trample, so we'll chump block the Patchwork. Get our 2/2. Icarid will trigger, but I've only got 1 option, and that's my only Dredger as well. So I'm going to say no once again. Then we'll dredge. And we hit a lot of things. So no attacks. 2 Icarids, 2 Poxwalkers, and a Grizzlebrand. We've got no dredgers now, but our attack next turn should be sweet. So if we get one, Ghost Quarter. I'll take the 7. They've got one card in hand. Okay. And it's a Trinisphere, which doesn't actually have any text. So, 2 Icarids go off. Willy, Poxwalkers, and Grizzlebrand. It doesn't matter. I can't actually put spells on the stack this game. And then I can attack with everyone, right? So I'm going to get 1 bridge token back. So what, you block here? I block here, I take 7. 1 artifact deals me 1. Sure. So I go to 1. Yeah. In we go. You block and trade. I get a 2/2 back. And then I've got 1 Icarid next turn, but that should be enough to tide us over. And this zombie can just block if we need to. The Ancient Tomb's dead, so back down to 5 mana. Oh no, they've got a Mana Vault. If they tap Mana Vault, then they die anyway if I survive. So... Oh, but they could get an Academy and untap it if they've got a Golos off the top. This is 5 mana. This is just another Stone Coil. That'd be annoying. A lot of Hellbent opponents have been killing me recently, and I'm not a fan of it. But they can't attack, right? Oh no, maybe they can attack. No, because I just killed them on the way back through. Right, so they don't come up with an attack. So can I survive next turn? Yes, because I've got the Narcomoeba, which means I don't need to bring back an Icarid this turn, right? Because it would be block, 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 block. So I can just say no on Icarid. No on Icarid. I draw for the turn. I don't attack either. Discard a Stinkweed Imp. And if they make a mistake, I've got 2 Icarids. And if they don't make a mistake, I've got 2 Icarids. Lodestone Golem continues to compound the issues I was having before. So I bring back 2 Icarids. Then I only get him for 1 point of damage. So I'm going to say no to Icarids. No to Icarids. I'm going to dredge 5. Didn't hit anything useful there. I'm going to discard Golgari Grave Troll because it's a better dredger now. And I don't need 2 Icarids anymore. And the Stonecoil Serpents are really annoying me. Not in an untilted kind of way, just in a I can't get through them kind of way. How many bridges have we been through? Just 1, right? And I imagine I get 3 or 4 in. I've got 3. What food have I got? Yeah, I've got the food now to work, so I'm going to eat my Poxwalker with one of these guys. And then I'm going to say no on the next one. So I've got 2, and I can dredge a Grave Troll to hit another bridge with. And I do hit another bridge with it. Which means I can now attack with this Icarid. And now my board's going to start getting wider. I hit another Icarid as well, actually. How many creatures do I have? 1, 2, 3, so I can still discard the Grave Troll. They just eat it, obviously. But I discard the Grave Troll, and now I've got triple Icarids, triple black creature, and a bridge from below. So we need to fade this draw step, and then we should be able to go around them. Triple Icarid. Icarid eats Grizzlebrand. Icarid eats Poxwalkers. Icarid eats Shambling Shell. Dredge a Grave Troll. Hit a Narcomoeba, yes please, I'd love it. And now I can just go around them for damage, and they lose. Okay, that was a sweaty one. That top deck Stonecoil Serpent bought them however many turns, which was really good. And we took a slightly aggro line in that turn. I think it was last turn where I bought back the Icarid with no bridge on the assumption that my troll's going to hit a bridge. So, I don't know, we had like 20 something cards in our deck, right? And we've only seen one of 3 bridges this game, so I think it's fine. And sometimes that sort of play is just going to put you that little turn ahead. Just assuming that you'll hit your outs can help you win the game, you know? So that was cool, especially seeing as what their opener was pretty good, right? They were Wasteland into Sphere, into Disruptor Flute, with some larger threats in play. But the power of Icarid keeps us in it. See you for round 2. 3, 4, 2, 3. Okie dokie, we're up against Wanjia, who has revealed a Lurrus the Dream Den. We've got a classic case if my hand had any lands, it would be great. We're going to mulligan, and we're going to go again. We're going to go again down to 4 this time. And now we're going to powder, and we're going to hide the Thassa's Oracle, hide the Mental Misstep, hide the Narcomoeba. And then we'll mulligan to 3. Not the game to do this on, but hey ho. And then we'll get rid of 2 Grizzlebrands, an Icarid and a Therapy, and we'll hold Thug Hollow One, and we'll see how that works for us. Okay, well now they know. So we have powdered in a manner that doesn't reveal the exact intentions of our list. You know? So, ooh, a Floodstrand. That's cool. So I assume we're just against Lurrus Control, Bowmasters, Frogs, blah blah blah, maybe some Plows. Floodstrand's a bit different. Maybe Floodstrand shouldn't feel a bit different, but for some reason it does. We'll discard the cards that want to be in the graveyard. Cast the Hollow One. And that gets through. I might just get plowed in a second, and we might just get, like, you know, Wasteland plowed, and that will be something. But we do have 2 dredges to work with in this game, which is quite good on the mulligan to 3. That's an Underground Sea. And a Nihil Spellbomb main deck. That's not ideal. So that will just go off now, I assume. They're not going to give me the opportunity. It'll just go off in my main phase, in my upkeep. Oh, they are going to give me the opportunity. Okay. So now we can attack you for 4. And just chill out for a mo. They fetch. They get on City Sewers. I assume they've got a Wasteland. Because otherwise I feel like you'd take a more serious look at my graveyard with the spell bomb prior to this. Because I've now got a Dredger in hand, and you know I've got a Dredger in hand. I can't say I'm a massive fan of what's occurred for our opponents so far this game. They're going to fetch Underground Sea, so it's just blue-black. 3 mana, buys Lurrus the Dream Den. Also, they're just trying to set up the loop-to-loop. We'll just pass. We'll just take it. Yeah, yeah. Icarid, over to you. And now they crack it. That's fine. Okay. I get an activation on my upkeep. I don't find another Bazaar of Baghdad. I do find another bridge from below. And we'll draw a Golgari Thug for the turn. I get 2 Narcomoebas, which is nice. Yep. Yep. And then we can, in response to this, Lurus top the Spell Bomb. So they play Lurus. I top your Spell Bomb. That goes on top. Now they need a 0 mana draw effect, which they don't have. I think they wanted to nuke my graveyard before I rescued my Dredger. I think that's where this kind of went off the rails a bit for them. I'm not saying I've won, but I'm saying that I think that would have been better. I hit a Dread Return as well. So we'll attack for 6, I guess. Oh no, hang on, we've got another bit of action to go. So Thug. Now I hit a Therapy. Okay. So now your Spell Bomb's just far too late. Let's Therapy you off of this Narc. Because I want these bridge triggers, and I don't want them to chump block with Lurus. So I'm going to do this all now at the cost of 1 damage in the sky. And what do you name here? Just Orcish Bowmasters? Well, they've got a Lurus, right? So we want to go after their spells rather than anything else. So I guess I just go after Force of Will and Daze. What's more impactful? I mean, it's the same, right? So let's just go Force of Will. That's the most normal. They don't have a Force of Will. They could have a Force of Will. I don't think they've got anything. Norod, Mindbreak, Trap, Spell, Piss, Time Twister. Sure. I don't care about any of those cards. Bridge from Below, the Grief, exiling Narc, Pox. Oh, exiling. So I think I can just press this button these days, can't I? Yeah, nice. Bring back a Grief. Take your Time Twister. And then that's that. And then you can have your Spell Bomb, I don't care. Okay then, nice. Game 1 against Blue-Black Lurus. I'm going to bring in the Sickening Shoal. Oh, I'm going to bring in the Sickening Shoals, a couple of those, maybe 3. I'm going to bring in 4 Vigors. I'm going to drop a Chalice, 2 Thugs, Therapy, maybe a Pox, but I really like the Pox Walkers. And the Griefs are good as well. Griefs are like actually really good Dread Return targets. I don't like the idea of going down to 2 Dread Return, but we could entertain the idea of Grizzlebrand and Dread Return as our last 2 cards. And then we've got 1 and 1. But if I'm doing that, I'd rather have the Poxwalkers in my deck and drop something else. So let's entertain this theory quickly. 1 bridge. Something like that. And what we're doing is that we've got an acknowledgement of the combo still existing, but we also have just this Poxwalker Icarid plan with only 3 therapies. Only 3 therapies. What do we think about 3 therapies? I don't think I've got space to go down anywhere else. I think I need all the other cards. I could consider a Grief and keep the therapy. Let's try that out. Because then I've got the 4 therapies to enable the Poxwalkers with. Okay, regretfully, I'm out of coffee, so I'm gonna need a break after this match. Right, so we are on quite a good hand actually. The only thing that kills us here is Pissing Needle. Um, we'll keep this. They've kept on 7 as well, which I am not a massive fan of. That's Underground Sea and Pass. So it looks like an upkeep Ancestral Recall or a turn 2 Yixla Jailer. I think that's the two options. Let's go Bazaar of Baghdad, activate it. Pox Therapy. Cast a Hollow One. They Force of Will pitching Psychic Frog. Okay. Cast a Hollow One. Therapy U. Naming what? Might just get Spell Pierced. Now we'll just name Yixla Jailer. Stock up time for us to Wasteland. Okay, cool. Cool. We've got nothing. They've got nothing. We've got Bazaar of Baghdad and 6 power. We've got Sickening Shoal for this frog if they ever find a way into it. They've got stock ups in their deck, which is interesting, but they're just going to Wasteland me this turn and have nothing left. So there's the waste. They could have drawn a Spell Pierce and that would suck, but then I'll just be on 6 power a turn for the rest of the game. Let's go with the end step Noxious on my Bazaar of Baghdad, not on your Wasteland. That was close. Yep, I get it back. Back to me. Bazaar. Spin it for another Hollow One. Miss, but we get another Bazaar. Sure. Attack for 6. And they're at 13. Psychic Frog will be annoying next turn. And they have it, but my guy has Death Touch. My guys have Death Touch. I don't feel like I want to hang about and try and kill it. I think I'm just going to come off of my Sickening Shoal. If you draw a land and twist me next turn, then congratulations. Icarid will go off, but I won't do anything with that Icarid. They might twist me next turn as well. Stinkweed Imp finds Cabal Therapy, so I can go and take their Time Twister in a second. Let's get rid of the Stinkweed Imp. I find a Narcomoeba. Do I find a Dread Return? No. Yes. Okay, this is really interesting then. I've got a Bridge from Below. I'm going to attack for 6. I don't care if they block. I think it's actively good for me if they do. They don't block, so we'll Therapy you off of a Poxwalker. And we'll take your Time Twister. No space. Take your Time Twister, because that's the actual scary card. Dig through time and stock up, okay. And now we will Dread Return a Grief of this one, and this one. So we get everything back. We get 2 zombies. We get a Grief for your stock up, and we've got a blocker for your creature. And then you lose. Take stock up, leave you with Dig through time. Hard to get onto Dig. Actually, Fetch Land does it immediately, but I've got this board state, and if you play a Fetch Land, you can't tap me. Block and die. Yeah, cool. Maybe I was supposed to take Dig. And we win the match. Very nice. Very nice. I like how it's going today. I like how it's going. Okie dokie. Round 4 up against Ice 9. Big fan. And we are on the draw. We've got Bazaar, we've got Chalice. So let's see what happens. This is one of the big downsides of this list, is sometimes you're on the draw, you know? Sometimes you want to draw, your opponent plays a Workshop and a Vexing Bauble, which means my Chalice doesn't get in, but they also can't. So what do you have for me here? Nothing else, just Vexing Bauble. Okay, so we can't cast spells. Well, we can't resolve spells. We can cast spells. Second Bazaar is a banger. That should help. I'm going to discard Troll, Imp, Powder, and then pass the turn to you. And we'll hold on to these cards we can cast for as long as possible. They've got 2 Workshops and a Mystic Forge. That's cool. And then they discard a Mana Crypt from the top of their deck, that one. That's just to clear it. I can't do anything. They exile a Gitaxian Probe. That was unexpected. So what are we up against? Just like a Dual Shops deck then? So Grave Troll, Stinkweed Imp, get an Narcomoeba for our therapies, discard a Stinkweed Imp as well. Narcomoeba comes in, draw step, Grave Troll, Bazaar of Baghdad, Stinkweed Imp, and then assess the situation after that. I've got a Poxwalkers, I've got some Bridge from Belows. Let's just see what happens. Sack this Narc. 1 Pox, 1 Bridge is an embarrassing state of affairs after what we've just been through. So let's just do this a few times. And then that's our board. But next turn we've got some Dread Returns to make even more zombies. We can only accrue 9 power this turn, which is a shame. I was hoping for more after going through 3/4 of my deck. Or a third of my deck, just under a third of my deck actually, it wasn't that high. So they've got a Time Vault. And a One Ring. And I can't do anything about this. They exile a card, it's a Metamorph. They draw a card. They have a Springs, it's tapped. Icarid's trigger, and Icarids will come in because they're going to just expand our board state nicely. I've got a lot of Bazaars, but I need to be careful on the size of my deck. So I'm just going to pick up my Grave Troll. I get another Narcomoeba. How many bridges have I got? Still only 1. So I'll do a little bit more. Thug and Shell. Takes me down to 10 cards. And then we can therapy me off of a Poxwalker, sorry. Yield to all. And then it's just on them to kill us, really. Dread Return of Golgari Thug. Sacrificing Poxwalker, Zombie. Yield to all. Dread Return on... Do I want to Dread Return? How many Dread Returns have I been through? Been through 1, 2, so I've got 1 more Dread Return in my final 10. So we can Dread Return a Shambling Shell and pitch these guys. And I've got 1 more Dread Return in my deck, so if we happen to untap with no Vexing Bauble in play, we can go and find that Dread Return and win with it. Cool. Put everything away. And yeah, no, you'll go, boss man. And they have to kill us. This is one of those ones where you know, even if they do, oh, they've just given it back. Okay. Okay, so they're going to take 2 turns. I'll make my graveyard, my board state bigger and better then. I'll take a draw. I'll attack with these. So they're going to get 2 turns, which should be enough to kill us. Then there's always the thing of, do you actually have enough power and toughness in your deck somewhere to kill me with? So I've got a lot here. So I take a damage. They go to 17. Draw 2. Exile an ancient tomb. Pay 6. Find a coveted jewel. That's a thing as well, actually, isn't it? So I've only got 9 cards in my deck. So that's a voltaic key. How long do we want to sit around for? Like, can their deck, in total, grind through 57 zombies? I mean, it just doesn't need to, right? It just needs to put 3 coveted jewels into play and then it can never lose. How many Noxious have I been through? So I've got another Noxious to draw as well. They'll always pass back with ring protection. It's interesting, because I feel like there's a chance that I've stonewalled them hard enough that they can't kill me. Now they've just got rid of their Vexing Bauble. They tinker. They get another coveted jewel. Have I been through all my therapies? I have, yeah, that's a shame. Our opponent plays quite quickly, so we might just watch them for a minute. Because they might just give the turn back. I'm not sure how I win after taking the turn back, though. They discard some cards to clean up. Oh, Manifold Key, right. The actual key that just makes their Wormcoil unblockable. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I've finally thought of the line. That's cool. So, we don't get there because of Vexing Bauble. Otherwise, that was going to be a very simple kill. I want traps, and do I want figures? So I think normal stuff. 2 thugs, a therapy. Do I want figures? They can have Grafdigger's Cage, right? So I do need the figures. Chalice on the play is good. Grief is good. Maybe this is a matchup where we can come down a Poxwalker. I need 2 cuts from here. Noxious. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, Mindbreak Trap, Grief, Hollow One. This is cool. I like this hand. They've kept on 7. We'll activate up onto. We'll get rid of Narcomoeba, Noxious Revival, Shambling Shell, and we'll cast Hollow One. And now we'll grief them. And their hand. Ruby PO Coveted Jewel. So what do I take? What's that card? Ancient Tomb. I see. So I'll just take that Coveted Jewel then. So back to them. And we've got like this slow dredge joke as well this turn. Into Ruby. And a Pearl. They might metamorph one of those as well. They might metamorph the Hollow One. I was thinking they'd metamorph. I could have trapped that metamorph. I just was not thinking at all. Okay. I'm going to dredge this guy. I hit a Narcomoeba. I'm going to activate this. Bridge from below. Powder. Mindbreak Trap. Therapy you. Take your Metamorph. Let's take your Paradoxical. Oh, which one do I take? I only get to take one of them, right? Let's take your Phyrexian. Phyrexian, Metamorph, Ancient Tomb, Paradox Outcome. Cool, cool. Attack for 4. You may or may not block. You do block. Okay, I get another token. And I hit you with the double Stone Rain. So your PO doesn't work. And then I've got 4 power. I should have trapped that Metamorph on the way down. They draw an Emerald for the turn. They play an Ancient Tomb and they're holding a PO. So I can flip some cards over here. Hope for a Dredger. Hit a Grave Troll. Draw a Grave Troll. Attack you, and then therapy you and just take that outcome. I get Poxwalkers in the deal. Paradoxical outcome. 5 power in play. Paradoxical outcome's gone. Your hand's empty. They draw a card. It's a Wormcoil Engine, but that's not going to be enough, I don't think, against what I'm working with now. So Icarid's going to trigger. I'm going to get Stinkweed Imp off. Stinkweed Imp off. And then Icarid eats Grief. Golgari Grave Troll dredges 6. Narcomoeba comes into play. How many Dread Returns do I have? There's none there. I've got 2 in the yard, so that's fine. So we can therapy. No one, it doesn't matter. We can Dread Return Grizzlebrand. 1, 2, 3. I get some creatures. I get a Grizzlebrand. So 22 across 7. I'm going to go up to 8 cards in hand. I need to do 22 cards. So let's pay 7. I'm not very good at maths, guys. So if I do Stinkweed Imp, Golgari Thug, that takes me to 13 cards with 5 draws remaining. And then another Thug is 9 cards with 4 draws remaining. I've only got Stinkweed Imps here. So a Stinkweed Imp would send me down to, so -5. Would send me down to 4 cards with 4 cards remaining. So I can dredge 1 Stinkweed Imp and hopefully I don't die and I'll be on 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it works. And I go, okay, yeah, cool. Oh, so that was also my last dredger. Yes. Dread Return, Thassa's Oracle. Ding, ding, ding. Poxwalkers, Poxwalkers. Yield to all. I can count, I just need to clarify that to you all. It's stressful as fuck when you're doing that. Okay, so we win game 2, we clap back. And then anything we want different on the other side? I don't think so. I think our deck's in a pretty good configuration at the moment. I like the Poxwalkers a lot. We need to draw the traps, I think, though, because we are on the draw. I didn't bring my griefs in, did I? Well, that's because I didn't take them out. Bizarre Vigor, sure. Sure. Opponent's got 7 cards. Workshop, Pearl, Mystic Forge. Bink, bink, bonk. So then they exile the top card of their library. They exile a Force of Will. And now they don't know what they're drawing. We play and activate Bazaar of Baghdad. And we'll discard Bridge, Shell. They've got Workshop, Monolith, and back to me. Nice. So that's 9 mana, though, that they've got there. 6 that they can't do anything with. So I presume they're just on mana sources, right? They've got no payoffs in their hand. They've got actual nothing. So Shambling Shell, Golgari Thug. No creatures for us here. But we do get... I should discard my Dredge Return. We do get a Grave Troll for this Dredge here. And then nothing else. But they are... They appear to be struggling for action. Wormcoil. That's not what we wanted to see. We wanted to see a Wormcoil engine. So they've got 6 mana, 6 cards. Probes me, knows about the trap. So now they can only throw stuff at me if they know about if they've got Force of Will. If they don't have Force of Will, they're going to get shredded. Talon Gates comes into play, phases out no one and nothing. Makes me think they've got 2 things to do now. Vexing Bauble, sure. I'll trap it because I want to kill them if I get another turn. They don't fight back. They time walk. Okay, this is distressing. So they seemed to have fuck all for a moment there. And then they top decked the Coveted Jewel. 3 cards in hand for them. Please be a Wormcoil, please be a Wormcoil. It's a 1 ring. Okay, so that might actually be fine. That's not the most velocity they could have there. And the whole point of this deck is we can still kill through a ring protection. This looks like someone who's casting PO for 3, though. I think we've lost. That's a shame. This was a close one. They've redeployed the Jewel with 4 mana available. We know they've got a ring. I think they've just played another Workshop. We need them just to stop and play Wormcoil Engine and pass the turn. They've got double ring protections. Now I really can't hurt them. 3 mana left over, but 8 cards in hand. That's a Metamorph. And a Time Vault. 9 cards. Oh, and they're passing back. Okay. Do I have an Icarid? Yes. Okay, so these jewels belong to me. Okay. They've got 7 cards in hand and ring protection. If anything happens here, it's going to be quite the turn. What's in exile? Shambling Shell. Okay. I want the Dread Returns in my bin. Is that true? I'm going to get 2 coveted jewels. I'm going to get 2 coveted jewels. So maybe actually the ability to cast a Dread Return post-combat is really strong. I'm going to do that. So I can just hard cast it and that's going to eat another Force of Will. So I get a Narcomoeba and I get an Icarid. The Icarid's the big game here. Dredge Step sends me down cards to 21. Drawn a Therapy. I've got 1, 2, 3 bridges, so I'm cruising there. Let's go to combat. Attack with Icarid. The coveted jewels will trigger. And I'll get 6 dredges. So shell, shell, shell. Puts me down to 12 cards. This one untaps. Where's my Thoracle? Okay. I've got 12 cards, so then I can go Imp, draw 1. What if the Thoracle is the bottom card of my deck? Do we know what the bottom card of my deck is? Thug, Thug. How many Thugs did I register? I've only registered 2 Thugs. But I've got Thug, Thug, Shell. How do I get to 12? Thug. Still no Thassa's Oracle. How do I get deeper? Shit. Just Imp and hope it's not in the bottom 3? Or just go Thug. Bizarre, bizarre, bizarre. I can't dredge again, right? No, I can Thug into a shell. I can Imp into a shell. Am I stupid? Imp into a shell. No, there's a shell in the bin. So Stinkweed Imp is the plan. I draw a card. And I miss on my Thassa's Oracle. And my game lags out. This is so exceptionally fucked, man. I can't get deeper into my deck. In any conceivable way. Did we know Thassa's Oracle was in the bottom too? Did I put it there earlier? I just messed up. I think my game's broken. Oh, I think my PC's broken. Okay, I see. Can't target them. I've got no cards in hand. Fuck me dead. Okay, so this was a massive case of user error. I now can't get deeper into my deck. I'm at risk of just getting ancestraled and killed. Is there anything I can do to draw cards? That's not Grizzlebrand. I'm so annoyed. This is a win. I just fucked it all up. My opponent's clearly not gonna let me back in next turn. Do I just have to pass the turn? I can't do anything, can I? 7 cards over there. And I've got no Thassa's Oracle. I've got no way of interacting with them. I've got nothing. Good grief, man. Okay, I'm just gonna pass. There's nothing else I can do. Liquid dies, I get some zombies. I definitely had the ability to win there. I just didn't count. That was so stupid. And they do take the turn. And now I lose. Oh, dearie me. Never mind. If we had players that could count on our team, then we might be sorted. But alas. Yeah, Academy, Sapphire, they've got it all. Oh, it's so bad. I just went shell, 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 and then just couldn't actually get to the right amount, and now they have a key. I think this is the game that I put it on the bottom, wasn't it? This was the game where I put it on the bottom, and then even said I've put it on the bottom. I know Magic Online won't let me look. Well, that was a heartbreaking amount of punts. Never mind. We will go to the next round. Okay, 5th and final round after that fiasco. We're on the play for a change up against P17, double hollow one. Bridges, therapies, the dream. So we'll keep this. I don't know what my opponent's going to be on. I know the username, but I don't know what they play. I'm not going to blind therapy on turn 1. They're just on dredge. Okay. So we should be somewhat ahead here because of the presence of Bridge from Below in our deck. So let's go Thug, Thug, Bridge. Yeah, I like that. And then we'll cast 2 hollow ones and grief them. Hollow one, grief you. They might Noxious my bridge in response to this. Let's see if they let us do stuff. Noxious, Icarid, Thug, Force of Will. Hollow one. Let's just take your Noxious Revival then. Because that's the best card that you've got. The most annoying one. I get a bridge token. They'll get a hollow one. But I frankly don't care. They're going to be too slow. I've got a bridge from below. Thug, Thug, Icarid. And then they play the hollow one. And they've got Bazaar. So we know about Force of Will. And then there's 2 mystery cards. they grief me to take my Narcomoeba. So they pitch Creeping Chill and Grief. They cast their Hollow One. They eat my Bridge from Below, so that's cute. And then they play their Hollow One. Perfect. Perfect stuff. So we'll untap. Both players effectively hellbent because they've got that one Force of Will with no text. I get 2 more Bridges and a Grizzlebrand and a Narcomoeba and a Dread Return, so I've won. Let's Dread Return Grizzlebrand whilst the Bridges are good. They've got a single Force of Will. And now I can just go off, right? So I've got 39 cards in my deck. I don't need to kill them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That puts me to 7 cards in deck, which is the perfect number. I think you'll agree. Dread Return. I can just pay 7 quickly. Press cancel every time. And then Dread Return Thassa's Oracle off of Grizzlebrand, Poxwalker's zombie token. Okay, cool. Nice turn 2 kill. And that's like the insane power of this deck, right? Is when you get that draw. We've regretfully used that draw in a game where we're overwhelmingly favoured just to play cardboard. But 4 trap, 4 vigor, no chalice, less griefs, less thugs. And I dropped Thoracle last time, didn't I? I think that's fine. I think dropping Thoracle's fine in this matchup. And I just won with it. But the moment I put that Grizzlebrand into play, I've won anyway, right? My opponent does not have the resources to go around a Grizzlebrand. And if I need something, I can go and get it with my Grizzlebrand for basically the rest of that game. So I'm happy to cut the Thoracles in this matchup because it's tough to come up with a situation. There's an argument then that I can have the additional Thug and the 1 less Dread Return actually, but never mind. So I've got no interaction. I do have 7 cards and a Bazaar of Baghdad. My opponent's got a Leyline on 7, so that's pretty tough. But fortunately for us, our graveyard interaction is all about that instant speed. So chill, they've got bridges. They've got bridges and chills. Okay, so I wasn't so overwhelmingly favoured as I thought. That's interesting. So it's Activate Bazaar. They've got bridges and Force of Wills. I've got a Ravenous Trap. So that's quite ravenous. I'm going to get rid of a Dread Return. So as discussed just at the end of sideboarding there, I'm flush for Dread Returns. So we've got to come up with an answer to this Hollow One, that's for sure. But that should be in the... Oh, that was a lot of chills. Chill, 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 chill. I'm going to trap that. You've got 2 cards left in hand. If it's Force of Will blue card, then great job. They draw a card for the turn. They play another Bazaar of Baghdad. They activate it immediately. And they have Bazaar, Hollow One, Noxious Revival. So what's your last card? What have you kept over Hollow One, Bazaar, Noxious? There's another Hollow One? Yeah, sure. We'll take a draw step. It's not very good. We'll discard some nonsense. And now we're in trouble. They miss on dredges though. They miss on dredges again. They get a draw step, and then they pass to me. They do have a strip mine in their deck, which is interesting. I take 8, so now I'm like hugely up against it. I need to find green card this turn, and then I need to also find a Ravenous Trap. So that's a green card, but the wrong one, and then we just die. Perfect stuff. Okay, next game. Got ley lined, had outs, didn't find them. Superb news. An additional thug over a dread return, I think, is what I asked for. They've shown strip mine, so the Noxiouses have to be in. The Noxii, the Noxus. Yeah, I think I'm happy. I think I'm happy with this setup. I could have grief, but I don't think I care. They'll have grief though. They'll have grief though. Maybe this could be a split of griefs and therapies, but we're just gonna raw dog the therapies. Ravenous Trap, Bizarre, Hollow One, perfect stuff. And then our opponent goes to Mulligan Land. There's a ley line gone, and a bridge gone, and a vigor gone. I've got no vigor in my hand, but I do have the Hollow One. So no ley line for either player. It doesn't mean they don't have traps, so we might think about that in a moment. So like we can go bridge from below, Icarid, Stinkweed, and we can have then another dredger in reserve. And then we'll pass to our opponent, who may or may not grief us. Maybe the bridge from below pitch is actually really bad. Maybe it's supposed to be powder. Because if I get griefed here, then life is pain. So they've got the old up and down on Bizarre. Stinkweed, Amalgam, Thug. And it looks like they're just passing. I will activate in response. I will run into your Mind Break trap. Are they Noxious my guy? Okay. I discard Grizzlebrand, Stinkweed Imp, Powder. Okay. I eat Grizzlebrand. I dredge 5. Hit a Narcomoeba and a Cabal Therapy. Attack for 7. And then I can sacrifice my Narc to take a look at your hand and probably just name Force of Will. Because that's going to be the thing that interacts with my Ravenous Trap. They've got Narcomoeba, Vigor. Okay. So they've got no cards. My Icarid dies and makes another token, and then I trap them, and then that'll be game next turn. So, nice job, us. Their graveyard's going to swell and then shrink. So, very big. Very big. Yeah. They line up the chill. I line up the trap. We know they've got nothing to do against that. And then they get a draw step, and they're dead on board. If they draw a green card, then maybe I peel an extra trap just for the absolute vibes. Let's eat a Grizzlebrand, eat a Shambling Shell, dredge 5, attack. And if they've got the Vigor, does that keep them alive? Yeah, it puts them to 1. So Combo Dredge continues to be dope, and we only lost that duel round because I genuinely just messed up that execution. I didn't think about my numbers from the beginning. I thought about them halfway through, and we got massively punished for that, right? No trophy for us. The poor man's trophy at 4-1, and there was a very clear and obvious route to victory. Um, and all that required was for me to take a moment to think about what I'm doing and not just click buttons. Um, but sometimes you're just out there clicking buttons, and that's the way it goes. You can't be too mad at yourself. I like this list. I am considering this list at the moment quite strongly, or something similar. I think the Poxwalkers showed us that they're quite good today, especially in conjunction with those therapies, and especially in those mid-range games. So that's that. I like 3 Dread returns. I don't think I care about the 4th. I think you could consider the Street Race if you want to be cool. You could consider the Git Probe as well, but space is tight. You definitely want max dredgers, and I think you also have to be kind of lucky in this list, right? Like you need to be lucky enough to get that first or second untap kind of unaccosted, which you're not going to get post board. And that's why our matches turn into being like really gritty therapy Poxwalkers games in a few of those. Just because we've got so little interaction. But no, that was a fun league. A fun league. Disappointing result. Disappointing 4-1, you know what I mean. Um, we didn't play against any Lurus Control, did we? No, we did. Wanjia. Yeah, we beat Wanjia, so that was cool. And then, yeah, no. Combo Dredge. Always a lot of fun. Maybe count before you start drawing cards. See you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.